Hi, my name's Denise Labadie, and I am a stone quilter. I consider myself an Irish stone quilter because I love the stones of Ireland. This is a piece that I did of the Reefer Church at Glendalough in County Wicklow, Ireland. This was one of my earlier ones, so I have everything raw edge, but I stitch around the edges and strip piecing on the ground, and the inside fabrics and the ground are all my hand painted fabrics. And to create the stones down here, that was reverse appliqué. This quilt here is a fairly new one. It's a dolmen, represents a dolmen that was on Omi Island, which is a teeny tiny island off the coast of Galway. And I have a whole mix of fabrics in here to create these stones. I don't just use one piece usually. I have a mix, and turned edge applique, some reverse applique in here, my painted fabric, but I also mix in some Stonehenge fabric, just creating lots of different texture. And then on the ground, this is a fairly new way I've been doing the ground with a choppy cut. Pieces, all different kinds of pieces that I'll just glue together. And then the sky, my skies are also hand painted, so lots of hand painted fabric in here, which is what I like to do, but I'm not opposed to adding batiks or silks or linens or anything that will add interest to my quilts. So I've been doing the stone quilts since about 1994. I think I did my first one of the Piper stones in County Wicklow, Ireland. I have been sewing all my life, and then I just discovered the stones and became so passionate about it. It was really exciting to be able to mix two loves, my love of sewing with my the love of the stones. I've done about 55 stone quilts, passageways, stone circles, dolmens, anything that I see as being a challenge. I always look for a challenge, ways to, how am I going to do this, and then come up with things. This is actually the top of a cathedral, the peaks on the cathedral, and I love how there's so much lichen, and so I have ways of painting this fabric. All this fabric on this is hand painted, but I'll use resist with glue or flour and water, where I make a paste and spread it around. If I use a flour water resist, I can crackle it and get these kinds of cracks. The glue resist does not crack, but they just both create different effects. I paint with PBO, set of color transparent paints, and I like the way I can get lots of layers to just give more dimension and shadows and whatnot in my stones. I love passageways. I love how they just suck you in. This particular staircase I have been to, but the photo I used was actually from a Welsh photographer who gave me permission to use his photo, as long as I sent him a photo of what I ended up with. So this one was a challenge, because how was I going to create the side walls to differentiate themselves from the center stones? So the sides are basically created in a collage technique, all raw edge. Then coming up the steps, I've got reverse applique, but all the edges of the stones are turned edge. And then just going up into the light, I just feel like it just wants to suck me up and find out what's on the other side when I get up there. And so I painted all the fabric once again, and I built the staircase first, and then I did the collage for the side walls to just flatten them out. So I do a lot of strip piecing, and I'll mix my hand-painted fabrics with batiks, with silks, linens, glitz, what I call glitz, gold or silver, whatever, to add dimension and interest where as you get closer to the landscapes. I couch in threads. I use resists. I salt and sand and whatever it takes to create the fabrics. This particular quilt was inspired by a photo my son took on his honeymoon, and I wanted to do something different in the ground, so I came up with this choppy effect of taking all my fabrics and just chopping them all up and lay them in and glue them, and then so they aren't fused, I just stick them up and glue them, and then creating the cracks. I have turned edge here. I have raw edge, a lot of turned edge. Yeah, this is some raw edge. I like combining all different types of fabrics to create the dimension in my stones and create interest. This is a stone circle from the Orkney Islands called the Ring of Brodgar. And when I paint a sky, I'm painting fabric on a thin plastic. And so where I got all these bubbles, that's from painting on plastic because it bubbles up. And then the paint takes on that patterning. This is a stone fort on the island of Inishmore, and I got to be there at the sunset when all the stones turned purple and the yellow light was so intriguing, so just sucked me in. I have all the stones are turned edge, but I have a lot of reverse appliqué once again. I actually ended up painting this much darker for the shadowing. I've got my little strip piecing here, which is this strip piecing has all seams on the inside. I have a layer of Pima cotton for the sky in addition to 2 layers of silk organza, all painted, but it's just it's an ancient stone fort to create. So when I create a quilt like this, I start at the bottom, I make a stone, I put it up, I make another stone, I put it up. I build it like a stonemason would, both sides, and then finish off at the top. And I've got reverse applique, turned edge applique. I got it all in here. I have a foundation back here. So this was a batik fabric that I had that was purple and deep purple and light purple, but it was too mottled, so I went and painted over it. And but I still have some modeling in here because I don't like using a stark, solid color for a background. And then so I built my whole section there for the foundation, and then just started adding the stones, and I'll glue them on with fabric glue, and then I can spritz it with fabric or water and pull it off if I want to rearrange it, and just keep building it till I get it. And then I quilt. I do not quilt on a long arm. I have home machines, and that's what free motion quilting. So this is a stone row on the Ring of Kerry called the Edakua stone row. And when I looked at the photo, I loved how the stones were all modeled. So I tried to come up with an idea of how to create the modeling. So I started using glue, and I stamped glue on with a sponge and painted, washed it off, and did that a couple times. Same with the sky. I used glue in the sky, I used sand and salt, and then once again, these were modeled, but I painted them light. Getting the perspective on my stones was always a challenge for me, and one of the things I started trying really hard to get different angles and dimension on them. And I've got, again, batiks, hand-painted fabric, and then and then a whole cloth sky. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I hope you go to my website. Thank you very much.